Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Welcome to another lecture. In this class, we are going to continue with Unit 11 of Education, Class 12, Nagaland 4. And the chapter that we are dealing with is Intelligence. Now, in the previous lecture, when we were discussing about the measurement of intelligence, of a person, we talked about the verbal and the non-verbal tests. Verbal tests in which a person was supposed to read and then write the solution to the problems, and non-verbal tests were those in which different signs, pictures, puzzles, were displayed in front of the person, and no writing, reading was required. Just with the help of a pencil, the person was supposed to mark a response. So the reason why the non-verbal and the performance tests, were started was because verbal tests did not measure the intelligence of all the people. Verbal tests could only be measured in those who were language smart, who were literate, who knew how to read and write. Those people who were aware of the words, of numbers, of sentences. So those people who were superior with respect to a language skill were always given a preference. And the disadvantage fell into the side of people who were weak linguistically. And in order to just drive away this difference between the people who can read and write and the people who can't, the non-verbal tests were put to use. The non-verbal tests were also constructed and introduced. So, the advantages of the non-verbal tests are: A, we know that these tests are useful for those who do not have a good command over language. And why are they language handicaps? Why do they not know the language well? Maybe because they belong to some foreign language group and they don't know your language at all. They may be illiterate and they do not know how to read and write altogether. They may be having difficulties in reading and writing and listening because of some problem in their sense organs. They may be very young, small children who have yet not learned how to read and write. They may be mentally retarded or mentally deficient children, and therefore are very slow in getting and grasping things and to respond to some situation. And they might belong to the underprivileged areas of, the society where their facilities were not that well endowed and they could not learn well at all. Other than that, verbal test, obviously, that belongs to a region or that caters to an area where your language is going to impact your results straight away. Because verbal test is you read and then you write. So what you are reading, what you are writing is going to, emphasize, is going to lay stress on your language, on your culture. However, a non-verbal test do not have got anything to do with language and culture. So they can be cross-cultural in nature. They have got no linguistic barrier in them. Any person from any culture with any language can appear for the non-verbal tests. Also, these non-verbal tests prove useful when one has to decide one's aptitude and one's ability to work in a shop or, something to do with the mechanical job as well. Now, something that we need to know, because this term is going to help us when we study about the intelligence quotient. Mental age, the abbreviated form of which is MA. Now, when you are categorizing the children with different abilities, Binet, a very famous psychologist, he actually developed a unit to determine the mental age of a child. So, the intelligence level of the child was decided by the mental age level, which he could attain on the basis of a test. What does it mean? If a child is 3 years of age, and rather than, attempting a test which is appropriate for a 3-year-old child, he can successfully attempt the test which is appropriate for a child of age 5. His mental age will be 5, not 4 or not 3. Okay? Somebody who is, let's say, 20 years of age, but the test that he appeared and passed was of the level, was for the age group 15. His mental age is going to be 15. So basically, your mental age plays a very important role in determining your intelligence quotient. A person who is 12 years of age is not necessary that would be able to do all the tests meant for the 12-year-old children. Okay? So mental age means the tests which helped to decide the age of a person, the mental ability of a person. And in contrast to this, we have the chronological age. So, as I have told you that if a child is able to do a test which is more than his chronological age, the age with which he actually is, then his mental age is higher and he's supposed to be a bright child. If a child is unable to attempt a test of his age or his mental age is less than his chronological age, then that child is assumed to be slow learner or a retarded child. So mental age is a very simple as well as a useful concept, and this concept is used by one to determine the intelligence quotient of children. And as I have already told you, chronological age is nothing but the actual age of the child. 3 years, 4 years, according to your birth date, according to your calendar, this is your chronological age. So both MA, that is mental age, and CA, that is the chronological age, are different, can be same in the different children. If in a child the mental age is higher than the chronological age, the child is bright. And if the child has got lower mental age than the chronological age, then that child is a dunce. So I'm going to pause here now, my dear students, and in the next lecture I shall discuss with you how can we use these intelligence tests.